Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Shall we begin the session? In the last class, we have finished with the two parts, that is the planning and the data collection. Now, the next part, that is the third phase of the need assessment, is data analysis, data reporting, and the data or the priority settings. So, what are the various data analysis phase? How to or what is the data reporting, how to generate the report, and what is the priority settings that is analyzed, that is done with the data analysis, with the data reporting, and the priority settings. And this includes four steps that is included in the data analysis, data reporting, and the priority settings. All right. Now let's start the session. So next topic is data analysis, data reporting, and the priority settings. What are the various data analysis report? What are the various settings? That is, what are the various reporting that we have performed in this? So that is data analysis, data reporting, and the priority settings. Step number 11 is perform the data analysis. What are the form of the data analysis, how it is done, and how we are performing the data analysis tools. So the type of data analysis will depend on both the instruments used and the study question that being answered. So what are the various study questions? What are the various, we can say, the instrument that is used for the various questions. And some portion of the data analysis may involve a simple telling of the responses, that may be a number or percentage of those indicating yes or no. So these numbers are indicating whether to yes or no. And in most of the cases, however, far from sophisticated statistical analysis that examine the relationship, what is the main relationship between the data analysis, that is how to perform the data analysis, how to analyze the data, that is what is the report that is going on, and how much the data do education coordinator actually gather as they were planning a program. Do they really go through these steps? And if they go through the steps, how much information do they really use? This is the main question, that is how much data should I collect? And not surprisingly, there is a consistent relationship between the size and the cost of the program. And whatever the cost, whatever the size that is available, that is used with the amount of data gathered, whatever the amount that is used with the amount of data gathering. And in planning for the short terms, small budget terms, small criteria that is also used for the budget programs, and many educators also use with one of the more program that is used with this one. Now let's see what are the various ways by which we can gather the data for the need assessment. So these are the various stages. If you see, these are the various stages, these are the various tools by which we can gather the data for the need assessment. So first one is a telephone. So calls or write down the stakeholder. That means who are the stakeholders and how to, we can say, what are the various questions that is asked from the stakeholders. So call or write them stakeholder or known the stakeholder and ask them a series of the questions. Then make the cold calls to people recommended by the other. So whatever the people that is recommended by the other, that is used over here. So if I see the detail assignment, that is also available in this one, that how to make the stakeholder in touch, or what are the various tools by which we can use the stakeholders. Right. Next one is a face-to-face. Next tool for data gathering is the face-to-face. That is the first one is informal dialogues with the interested people. So this is the face-to-face interviews, we can say. So there is informal dialogues that is used with the interested peoples. Then semi-structured interview. One is a structured interview, one is a semi-structured interview. Now, can anyone tell me what is the difference between the semi-structured and the structured interview? As a name advice, structured, this is also given as a formal. So what is the difference between the semi-structured interview and the structured interview? Yes, structured interview have some predefined question that is asked, and the semi, that means that's a formal interview. And in case of the semi-structured, we can also ask, or the interviewer can also ask some personal question also, that is semi-structured. So one is a semi-structured, one is a formal or the structured interview. So first one is a telephone, that is clear. Then face-to-face, that is a face-to-face means a personal interview will be used, or the interview will be taken out with the interested peoples. Then mail or email, the same thing. So mail the follow-up service to the program participant. So whosoever the program participant, so this is also the case that is available over here, that use the program participant for the IT systems. So mail the follow-up surveys to program participant that is used over here. Then email questions to the colleagues. So email whatever the question that is available, that is email to the colleagues. Then email the list server to get the additional input. So whatever the additional input data that is used, so that additional input data will be gathered, that additional data will be used with the additional input. Now these are the three terms. One is a telephone, one is a face-to-face, one is a mail or email. Any doubt anyone in these 3 points, that is how to gather the data for the need assessment? Okay. So this is the third step, or step number 11, that is perform the data analysis. How to analyze the data that must be appropriate, that must be given the responses, and for the qualitative data collected most often through interviews and the focus group, that is categories and the themes will not be the extracted from the transcript. And these types of the analysis will require somewhat or someone with specific research and the evaluation expertise. That means how to analyze the data, how it will require with a specific research and the evaluation expertise. Now, come to the next step, that is step number 12, determining the priorities and identify the potential solutions. So first of all, understand what is a priority. Priority means which task is to come first and which task is to come later on. So determine the priorities, which task has a high priority, and identify the solution. That is, what is the solution, what is going to over here, and what are the various priorities to the various tasks. And once the data analysis is completed, your team is finally in the position to articulate the result in terms of the need. In terms of the need means what is data analysis, and yes, very correct. So that is the yes, how the designing will be follow up. Now you can systematically describe the discrepancy between what is and what should be, what is required and what should be required. And in all the probabilities, a large number of needs will be identified in this process. Large number of needs must be identified, we can say, in this process, and the team must evaluate the list of the identified needs and prioritize them. That is, what is the solution, what is the identified need, and how to prioritize them. It is very easy to imagine that priority settings could become a difficult task for the team. So whatever the priority settings that is available, that is a priority settings that will be a difficult task for the team, and the variety of the priority setting approaches are available to the planning team. That means these approaches, these tools must be appropriate for the planning team first of all, and in the end, however, the team must determine a set of the criteria for making the decisions. So that also recommends that we have the needs must be evaluated or should be evaluated against two primary sets of the criteria. Now, what are the two primary sets? That is the importance and the feasibility. And the importance can be determined by examining the characteristics such as the people affected. Yes, who are the people that is affected with these characteristics, with these terms, and the degree of the fit with the organization, whether it is fit with the organization or not. And feasibility relates to the characteristics such as the potential efficiency of a project designed to address the need. Whatever the need that is available with the feasibility study that is analyzing, whether that need will be the potential benefits for the project designed to address the need or not. So this is the SOX priorities setting criteria. One is the importance criteria, that is how many individuals are affected by this need. The greater the number affected, the greater the importance. And if we deal with the need, to what extent, what should or would it contribute to the organization needs, and larger the contribution, larger the importance. That means whatever the contribution that is used, that means that contribution is large, then the achievement is also large. Then does the need require some immediate attention, or can attention be deferred for a period of time, or the attention will be gathered for a period of time, with a need tending to resolve itself with the passage of the time. And how large is the discrepancy between the desired status for an area of the concern and the current level of achievement in regard to the desired status. And to what extent would resolving a need in this particular area would have a positive effect on a need in another area. And more positive the effect, the greater the importance. So whatever the positive effect, whatever the new effect that is gathered, so more effective area that will be analyzed. So this is the importance criteria. Then next one is the feasibility criteria. The degree to which an additional intervention, particularly an adult education strategy that can also reduce or even eliminate the need. Whatever the need that is eliminated over here, that can reduce or eliminate the need. And the extent to which resources are or could become available for the program to reduce the need. So whatever the resources, whatever the data gathering, whatever the available resources that is used for the program, that must be reduced. Then commitment or willingness of the organization to change. Whatever the willingness, whatever the commitment that is available for the organization to change. And with the list of the need prioritized, the project team focuses attention on the solution or determining which intervention will be the best these priorities needs while meeting organization needs. So whatever the need, whatever the priority that is given, so how these priority will be given, or how these priority will given the best priority while focusing the needs. And as a team coordinates, or as a team consider the effective solution to the high priority needs, it must also determine if an education project is the appropriate intervention, so whether it is using the appropriate intervention or not. And it is also quite possible that the best strategies for addressing the need are the structure or the temporal. So that means whatever the best structure, whatever the need analysis, that must be structural or the temporal need. For example, when you talk about a need assessment, that might confirm that elementary school teachers are not incorporating with the literature principle or basic principle in their lesson plans. The next step is step number 13. Synthesize information and create a report. Synthesize information in the sense whatever the information that is created out, that synthesize the information and create a report. And by this stage in the process, the planning team has assigned and implementing a significant behavior. This is the step number 13. So whatever the information we can synthesize and create a report. That means wrapping up the information and also creates a report. And by this stage in the process, the planning team has designed and implemented a significant behavior. Coalitions are being built. Stakeholders have been brought into the planning process. The coalitions means whatever the data that is collected out that are built, whatever the stakeholders that have been brought into the planning process, that data has been collected, priorities have been set, and strategies proposed. So whatever the strategies, whatever the data that has been collected, whatever the priorities that have been set out, whatever the planning process, whatever the strategies, whatever the data collection, whatever the things that is doing that have been proposed, and it might be tempting to truncate this step and jumping directly to the project design. But the importance of creating a record of the need assessment and its result is very essential. That is, what is the need assessment and what is the result is very essential. And the administrators will need a report for approving the onset of the design phase of the project. So whatever the design phase that is used, so that will need a report for approving the onset of the design phase of the project, and those responsible for taking the result of the need assessment and turning them into effective education project will not or will need to able to draw from the result. Whatever the result, whatever the data that is available, that is turning into the effective result, that is turning into the effective education project, that will need to able to draw the decisions, to draw the plan out, whatever the plan out, and also creates a report. A report in the sense how to, yeah, this is the, yes, this is the step after the design phase. So this step is used for the onset behavior of the design phase of the project. And those responsible for taking the result, that also turning them into the effective education project, that will need to able to draw from these results only, whatever the result that is gathered out. So this is the designing needs, that is the based action plans, whatever the action plans that is gathered out. So after sorting through the priorities and determining the potential solution or the strategies, the planning team will have considered numerous alternatives. Now, there is a look or second look at the potential solution strategies. So what are the various solution strategies and how it is compared with the strongest competitors? So what are the various key questions that is analyzed with this one? So first question is, what feature of the preferred solution strategy are its longest weak? So that means so what are the preferred solution strategy and what are the various strongest assets that is acquired for this one? And what are some of its less strong and even weak features? What are the various strong features and the weak feature that is available over here? And some of the competitive strategies that is stronger in this area. That means we have to perform the feasibility study, what is going on and what would be. So what is the current scenario and what is the future scenario? We have to fill the gap between them. And it is also possible to combine the features of the solution strategies without compromising the integrity of the top solution. What are the top solution that is used with the combining features? So we have to compromise with the integrity with this one. Then what is the scope of the solution? What is the location, or we can say what is the scope of the solution within the organization? How it is built and how it is used within the organization. Then how much time will the solution require? That means around it takes the 6 months, it takes 2 months, year, even 2 to 5 years, whatever the time that is required. So it from a relatively short time frame to develop and implement, that is less than 6 months, to intermediate and long term time frame, that is 2 to 5 years or even longer. Then what is the scope of the solution in terms of the focus? What is the scope of the solution in the sense? What is the main criteria by which we can implement the solution in terms of the focus, from narrow and fairly easy to implement to the broad and complex to implement? That is, what are the various criteria by which we can implement the solutions? Next question is, it is possible to divide a large solution to strategies into the smallest increment for implementation. What is the strategy that is used for this one? What is the strategy that is used for the implementation? So these questions must be done or must be evaluated on a timely basis, on a regular basis. And finally, access to the results of the need assessment is valuable as a foundation for the future project planning effort. So whatever the future project planning effort that must be developed, so that is a need assessment that is used for future project planning asset, and so then we have to write the project report. So synthesize the information means we have to get the information, each and every information, that is also based on the, we can say that is also based with the question answers, and at last at the end we have to create a report. So write the report. This says write the report at the end. Now, should a consultant be hired? This is the next question. So there is a need of the consultant. So most of the expertise needed to conduct a need assessment that will be found within the planning team, and if the team has carefully crafted. So members represent many of the stakeholder group and also provide the valuable information inside. However, but if the team does not include someone with the significant educational research and evaluation experience, it may be necessary to hire a consultant. So if the company needs or does not have a significant experience, or the stakeholder or the person that is also evaluating the experience, so there's need for the consultant in this case. And determining a sample or sampling scheme, designing data collection instrument, analyzing the data, all requires specific knowledge and skills. So whatever the data, whatever the knowledge, whatever the analyzing skills, whatever analyzing the data, that also requires a specific knowledge and the skill that cannot be substituted. And additionally, an argument can be made that an external consultant provides distance and objectivity that may not be possible for the members of the planning team, that is not required for the planning team with a vested interest. And the educational coordinator will need to assess the situation. So whatever the situation, whatever the coordinator that is used, whatever the education coordinator that is available to assess the solution and determine if a consultant should be hired to maintain the credibility. So if a consultant will be hired or should be required to maintain the credibility or credibility, And these are the various guidelines, that is how to acquire or what are the, or how to work with the consultant. Guidance on working with the consultant. So why they are using, or why we are hiring the consultant, what is the benefit of them. So if a team has carefully crafted, so members represent many of the stakeholder groups that can also provide the valuable information. So then only we have a requirement of the consultant. So that consults what members, what group, and also provide the valuable information.